to meeting, to order the Warden County Board of School Commissioners. Can I have a motion to accept the approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say aye. The ayes have it and the motion carries and the approval of the agenda. Now, I will lead if we'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say aye. Motion carries and the consent agenda is passed. Next, we will hear from the Student Advisory.
My name is David Carter, and I'm a member of the Warden County High School Student Advisory Club. For this monthly report, let's start with the sports news. These upcoming weeks we have a lot of rugby, soccer, and a few baseball games. We'll let you guys read over that. I'll save you your time. We do have a congratulations from the Angler team. It's been very successful this year. September 16th at Lake Nickajack. They had 3 groups out of 94 entries that one finished 5th, another 18th, and the last 29th. October 1st, out of 60 entries, we had a group finish 2nd, 21st, and 22nd. November 12th at Percy Priest Lake, we had 92 entries, and we had 2 finish 11th and 15th. Overall, throughout the year, they came up with points out of all Tennessee, and we had 1 group finish 1st throughout the whole year, another 6th, and another 31st. And this is out of 194 teams.
Awesome.
Samuel Matthew Bank.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Now for school news for Alpha Delta Kappa. This is from Tia Medley. ADK will be holding a bake sale all day tomorrow in the library. These proceeds go forward to provide a scholarship for a student majoring in education. Tia Medley has also gathered several gently used prom dresses for any girl that needs financial aid to get ready for prom. These dresses are free of charge to borrow, and this includes the accessories also. And she has also volunteered to provide makeup and hairdos. And from Danielle Smith, this year's science fair will be held Friday, March 10th in the auxiliary gym. And our ESL program, the students will be attending a field trip to Nissan to help encourage career options and goal setting. And now for club news, FCCLA Warm Hearts Helping Hand is collecting clothing, accessories, hygiene products, and non-perishable food items from January 25th until February 28th. And there'll be a drop-off at school. FFA, as some people know, this is FFA week, all throughout the week. And Tuesday was Camo Day, Wednesday was Western Day, today was Tractor Apparel Day, Miss Patty's for that. And Friday, tomorrow is FFA Day, which is blue and gold shirts and FFA Day shirts. The Warren County FFA will be sponsoring the first annual Willis Martin Memorial 5K for muscular dystrophy on Saturday, April 22nd at the Warren County High School. And registration will be available soon. Pre-registration, if done before April 3rd, is $25, and registration on the day of race is $30. FFA will also be providing breakfast for Warren County High School staff tomorrow morning to say thank you for all you do at Warren County High School. Also, today we met with Mr. Walker to discuss a few of the things going on in our school. We discussed the new block schedule and how that's going to work, work-based learning opportunities for the future, the future of Motlow courses at the Warren County High School, and that could be something extremely huge for the school, and how we're going to incorporate the clubs now that we do not have that hour lunch, and that's where most clubs will meet. We're going to talk about how the clubs will still meet, even though we do not have that. Also, cell phone usage has been discussed, and that's been a touchy subject lately, so we'll see how that works out. And that ends it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
I appreciate the report. I just want to say that you all do a great job bringing that report each month, and the students do a great job
presenting it, and, you know, there's just a lot of things that go on, and, really appreciate that. I know, that's not everything, so I really appreciate that.
Very, very active. I see Suzanne Prater's name mentioned here under the club use in the FCCLA. I had a conversation today with Butch Spirit after Rotary meeting, and we did an interview at WCTI. And he brought up, you know, I hadn't talked to him in advance about this, he brought up the culinary arts program at Warren County High School. So apparently in Nashville, and he is in a very responsible position in Nashville, he has heard about Warren County culinary arts. And I'm gonna get an email out to Mr. Prater hopefully tonight. He really wants to set up a contact.
Okay.
Because he says the demand for people, for students who've had culinary arts training is just through the roof in Nashville.
Well, that's awesome.
You know, it's not only a tourism and music destination, it's become a food destination.
That's great.
Had 13.9 million visitors in Nashville last year. So, you know, I just send along our encouragement to our people in that department.
Well,
Exactly.
he's in the culinary arts department, so he'll pass that information
All
on, I'm
right,
sure.
that's good. They did the, hospitality room, I think, the majority of it for the basketball tournament. He was really good, really good. They've done a great job for us several times, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, if nothing else, we turn it over to the operations report from Director Bobby Cox.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman. Just a quick report on our strategic plan. We touched base today and just our leadership team meeting today, and we're moving forward with the strategic plan. Our next touch point where we're bringing in the plans, the action plans will be on the 16th of March. So hopefully we'll be near finished at that time, and we shared those updates with you in this packet. So we're working to get it completed. It's been a good process, and I think we'll have a good product at the end. So moving forward with that. Just another update on our music program. We have I met with Ms. Duke and Mr. Collier at middle school, who are going to be teaching the program. There's an opportunity to get a grant for equipment through, I think it's Little Kids Rock. It's through out of Nashville, and Ms. Duke, when she was employed at Metro Nashville, had a contact there, so we have an opportunity to get a grant there. There is a $5,000 match, but we're hoping to apply for a grant to get the match, and a local grant to get the match. So we're still moving forward with that, with the goal of starting the last 9 weeks, 2 days a week. And Dina sent out a survey to all the schools this week, focusing on grades 5 through 8 to determine how many students would be interested in taking guitar lessons free of charge at the middle school, and we would provide transportation to the middle school. So we're moving forward with that, and I hope if everything falls into place, we should be in good shape with that long term. The next item is our calendar. Everybody worked diligently on the calendar. We've counted numerous days. I've counted at least 10 times today. I thought I made a mistake, and then it turns out I didn't make a mistake, and so I quit counting when I didn't make a mistake. So I think we're okay on the calendar. This year's calendar mirrors last year's, pretty much the same. We did take into account the feedback that we got from staff and some students and some parents on the calendar. The high points or any changes that we have are on Christmas break. One of the issues we had was taking off on the 2nd after New Year's, not coming back on the 2nd. Of course, this year that's what we did. So everybody agreed to work a little bit later in December. Our December date, abbreviated date, would be the 19th, and then that would allow us to be off on the 2nd and come back to school on the 3rd with a PD day. And that was a lot of the feedback that we got. So still the same number of break days, it's just spread out to the second, will be the last day. In March, on the 16th, a Friday before spring break, we would have a professional development stockpile day, because Good Friday is the 30th, and we didn't want to have a PD on the 26th, and then come back and have a 3-day week there for students. So we'd have a 4-day week before fall break or spring break, and a 4-day week after. We would still start, our first registration day would be on the 8th. First student day would be on the 10th, so that's 2 days in August. And then our last day would be the 25th with graduation on the 25th as well. Parent-teacher conference be the same as we have been, one in the fall, one in the spring, spread out 3 days, with the caveat that building principals can choose to have their conference at a different time with submission to me and approval. And the only change that we need to make, we received our testing dates last night for 17-18. So on your calendar where it says pre-K and K screening, April 17th through the 20th, we need to change that date to April 10th through the 13th. So that way our pre-K and kindergarten screening will not interfere with testing. So, but that is the only changes unless I've missed something. And if I find I have, then I'll bring it back. But I think we've gathered feedback and we're ready to approve the calendar for 17-18.
Do I have a motion to approve the school calendar for the school year 2017 through 2018?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say aye. The ayes have it, and the calendar passes for the school year 2017 through 2018.
Okay, thank you. I will make that change, and we'll get it to Dina, who will get it out to everybody, because I know everybody's going to want to have that in the morning. Dwayne, I'll send you a copy, and we'll get that in the paper. So appreciate everybody's work on the calendar, and that's always a hot topic. So we will make sure we get that through. Next item is Ms. Turner talking about Read to Be Ready grant and our 90% reading goal.
This summer, the state is offering summer programming through a grant program for the purpose of the Read to Be Ready summer program grant is to serve students who are below grade level and are also rising first, second, or third grade. So we applied for this grant last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. I didn't receive any feedback about our application, but from talking to other districts that did get it, I think the state favored providing transportation to students. So that's something we're trying to do this year. You have this outline of our summer program that we've gotten together, and the daily schedule. We also have a copy of that. What we intend to do is focus on our 3 town schools for our application, if it's approved by the board. We decided to do that because we thought we would be able to provide transportation within the budget by focusing on the town schools. So our plan will focus on rising second graders from Hickory Creek, Bobby Ray, and West. And our theme is going to be literacy through the sciences. So we've tried to kind of pair our literacy focus with other content that we know that students don't get a lot of opportunities to experience, especially in a hands-on type way. So we have our program director in place. That will be Nicole Crouch if the program is funded. We sat down with her yesterday, and Diane Pardon, our hands-on science coordinator, and Debbie Allen, who is one of our Read to Be Ready coaches, and put together our plan that we'll submit to the state. if we have your approval. The grant is due next Wednesday. So the most important thing was to get our kind of unit plan together, if you will. We looked at, what our theme for each week would be, how we would combine that with science, what field trips we would take, and even digging down to the books that we want to focus on for students to do their interactive read alouds and their shared reads and kind of all the work of the Read to Be Ready program. We will serve 45 kids, and we will have 9 teachers within the program. We are planning to submit for the maximum amount, which is a little bit more than $45,000. The requirements of the grant, we have to keep a 1-to-5 student-teacher ratio, so most of the money that we apply for will go to having the teachers there. Other money, of course, will go to transportation, will go to the field trips, and the materials that we'll need for the summer program. So just wanted to give you a little bit of information about it, let you see kind of our unit plan, and hopefully get your approval to apply for this by next week.
Okay, I suggest we just go ahead now and.
Okay.
And vote on it. Okay, do I have a motion to apply for this summer program grant?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor for applying for this summer program grant, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, and it passes for you to apply for the summer program grant.
Okay, thank you very much. Were there any questions?
Well, just, one real quick, but our chairperson is so efficient that she got that moved pretty fast, so, but I just, 45 pupils, we're gonna be funded for 45 pupils. How does that number compare to the total number that would be in this target range, not ready for not prepared for the next grade?
Below grade level?
Yep.
Well, let me tell you. We'd be considering current first graders, and as of our winter screening results, we have 35% of our kids in first grade meeting the winter benchmark. So we have plenty of students to choose from as of right now. We do expect that number to go up between now and the spring screening by the trends that we usually follow throughout the course of the year, and by some information that we've gotten from our testing vendor. So I don't expect that when we do our spring testing in May that we will still be at 35% meeting the benchmark. But we'll have enough students below grade level that we'll be able to select for the program. And I will add, it is sort of a formulated grant. It lays out the amount of money that we choose to apply for is directly correlated to the number of students we serve and the number of teachers we have to have for the program. So again, we're shooting for the maximum amount, serving 45 students.
And we have also the MyOn online reading program that is, we've had that for the last 3 years, and that's open to every student to take advantage of that. And that's not necessarily instructional, but it gives our students opportunity to read online books, access online books, as well as, most of our libraries are open at least once a week during the summer as well. So.
And with MyOn, we've had really, really great participation the last couple of years with that. We've had a lot of kids reading using that program
That's good.
over the summer. Yes.
See, this program runs June 12 through July 14.
We get there's a rubric that we'll be using as we write our application, and as we have done the planning that we've done so far, we get the maximum amount of points on the rubric if we run for 5 weeks. Okay. Any other questions on the summer program? Okay. I'm excited about it. I've got a good feeling this year.
That's right. Shoot the moon.
Our 90% reading goal update, you have our data from the winter screening. I spoke a little bit about this. I gave you the 3rd grade scores at last board meeting, but now we have the K2 scores finalized. There is a slight typo or mistake that I'll need to tell you about. On the bottom chart, the winter screening, We no longer use Star Early Literacy for testing in kindergarten and first grade. We use AimsWeb for kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. So if you look at the header chart on the fall table, that is what should be down below in the winter table. So I apologize for that oversight. But just kind of in summary, for kindergarten, we stayed at the same percentage level, at the district level. We fell from fall to winter in first grade by not quite 5 percentage points. And then we had a slight drop in second grade. What AimsWeb has told us, our testing vendor for first grade, is that they consistently see drops in first grade. The fall subtests for first grade are more commensurate with what should be expected at the end of kindergarten. More letter naming, letter sounds, things like that. But when they move into the subtest for the winter screening, kids are expected to become more readers at that point. There's an oral reading fluency subtest that's included on that, that kids typically, the first time they're given that assessment, that pulls the composite down. What they tell us is that when we do the spring testing, that should bounce back up. So this is the first year that we're using that AimsWeb Plus system-wide, so I hope that the guidance they're giving us, that we'll realize and we'll see that bounce back up for first grade. But what I'm doing, just because we haven't seen drops in the other vendors that we've used in previous years, is I have or will be meeting with each principal just to go over this data individually with them, talk about, are you tracking your kids? Do you know what kids that we've lost? What are you doing to address any kids that might need additional RTI services, or maybe just a little bit of a push in their grade level program, their tier 1 program. So I'm meeting with each principal. And another thing that I've kind of thought as I've been looking over these results is, you know, we've thought for a little while, and this is one of the reasons that we changed vendors, that maybe that Star Early Literacy is not giving us the survey level data that we need to really be able to respond appropriately to students and make sure that they're moving as they should be. What we've seen over the past couple of years as we've been looking at this 90% goal tracking is we make consistent progress during the course of the year, and then we break for summer, and when we come back, we're right back where we started. So I'm hopeful, kind of looking for the silver lining, looking for what we might be able to use constructively, that even though we do have some drops, that this hopefully is a better data system that we can respond to what we have now to be able to bring out a better result in the long run. I will also make a note about STAR. Again, we talked about this last month, but right now being at 55%, we're ahead of where we were at this time last year. So that's also part of the silver lining. Does anybody have any questions about this data?
Just looking at some of the big numbers, I mean, the third grade is really good.
Mm-hmm.
East side did awesome.
Yes, they did. We talked about that today, and
What's going on out there?
well, one
think
thing
we need
that
a
I'll
bottle.
say, and I'll invite Carol to share any of her insights, but one thing that I'll say about East Side is we've got one of our Read to Be Ready coaches out there working with those teachers, and I think those teachers have really bought into that work. And then Carol can speak more specifically about third grade, but I think she said today that she's really seeing a difference in the instructional practice that's going on. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, and we've really made that a focus this year too. I'm working closely with the third grade teachers, looking at their data consistently, watching these kids grow, in and out of the classroom a lot, seeing what's going on, and they're doing great things. The teachers are. The kids are growing, and we're just all really excited about it. So I do think the Read to Be Ready program has brought some new instructional methods, techniques, whatever, for the teachers to use with the kids. And another part of that is the writing. I've just been really impressed with our third grade writing. I've been in the classroom a lot, and the kids will stand up and share something that they have written related to a text that they have read, and it's just, I just really see them growing in that area, so it's very exciting.
Another thing that Eastside has that might feed into their data is they, this year and last year, they received a Focus School grant. And they have really focused on early literacy for some of those activities, so that could be another thing, just the focus that they have paid to in K2, kind of paying off now in third grade. So, but yeah, we were talking about that today, and thinking of our trajectory, if we are to meet our 90% goal in 2021, I believe it is, at the end of this year, we'll need third graders to be at 64%, I think it is, and they may be beating the target for next year.
That'd be great.
So, good work there. Any other questions, comments?
Chairperson, I met last week, it was, I think, with Ms. Turner and Vicki Dodd, on, I guess, what you might call the relaunch or re-emphasis of our 90% reading goal out in the community. You know, our teachers and principals and mentors, I think, are pretty well taking care of things in the classroom. But literacy is not a project for the schools exclusively, it's a project for the community, the whole community. And one of the constituencies in the community that I think personally would have an automatic embrace of this 90% goal is the faith community, the churches. Teddy, you're a preacher, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think there's a preacher or a deacon or an elder, a pastor, priest anywhere out there who would not encourage his congregation to do more Bible reading. You know, we've heard that preached a lot. The research that I have done indicates that a good reason that there's not a lot more Bible reading is because for adults, it's tedious, it's difficult, they're not understanding a lot of what they're reading, they got frustrated. That's a problem that can be corrected. It can't be done overnight because, you know, that's a project 12 years down the road, but we have to start now. And I believe that if more people, and I'm talking about adult struggles with reading. You know, maybe it's the dirty secret, the dirty American secret, but it's a fact. There are a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 readers in the adult population. And I don't think you're going to turn the corner on that until we start in kindergarten and before kindergarten, pre-K, and start in the home. So my guess is that probably the constituency group that's going to be first to embrace this will be the church community. You know, if they're serious about increasing Bible reading, I'm not saying that, you know, the members of the church don't love the scriptures. It's just that it's difficult. And we're talking about adults who struggle with reading. So I think what this school district is doing, and any school district, you know, is the implications are just unimaginable. So we're at 55%, we're going to 90%, we'll make it.
Yes, we will.
We'll make
Sure.
it.
We'll keep looking.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Just a couple of other items, that are under other business that just want to bring to your attention. One, in the financial management, accounting principles, the commission on Tuesday night approved, moving the PO amount, from $100 minimum to $250 minimum. Mostly that's just gonna, for us, that will affect maintenance, more than anything else. So just to be in line with that, I'd like to ask the board to approve that operations procedure. You're just approving that we, for maintenance, they have to get a purchase order for anything over $250. everything else will stay the same. And the Financial Management Committee approved that, and the County Commission approved that at Tuesday in the full commission. So we would just be in line with doing that. So just need a motion in that.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve for operations purchase order for over $250?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? And I won't rush it, Mr. Salmon.
I love your efficiency.
Okay, all those in favor to approve the operations purchase order for over $250, say aye.
Aye.
Those that do not approve, say aye. The ayes have it, and it is passed to approve the operations purchase order for over $250.
So we'll put that in our procedures. It's already in the financial management manual. We're following it, so Karen just wanted to make sure we had board approval for that. A couple other items. One, just want to let everybody know, and Carl, you may talk a little bit more about this, but we applied for a Tenachi grant that's Carl had actually had before in his previous job, and we achieved that and awarded that grant. It's a $7,500 grant, with the primary goal is to increase the number of students enrolling in post-secondary education and training. So I don't know if you want to talk any about that, or?
We got the check yesterday.
Okay.
So we're partnering with the chamber. We had to get an outside the school system to partner with us. So we partnered with the chamber. We're using those funds to be for students getting their feet on the ground inside of someplace post-secondary. It may be that it's, at a TCAT, Art Model, another four-year university, close to us. It could be any business around here that they could potentially work in the future. So Mechatronics, for example, Nissan, where some are going on those trips. So that's our goal, is to get the students exposed to as many post-secondary opportunities as we can.
Good. So we're happy that that's on board, and Carl and Stacy Smith and everybody's work on that. Pass that over to Dwayne, he might want to see a copy of that. Next item, Tracy has been working, we received a grant through the State Department to bring STEM courses to our elementary schools. So we have a STEM traveling trailer that is getting ready to hit the road. It also paid for a teacher for this year who's been working on this project. So we are rolling out our Career Technical Education STEM on Wheels program Monday. So I think Centertown, I believe, is that right, Centertown?
Yes.
Will be the first one, and I've asked Tracy to come next month to report to the board on how that's going. But this trailer will carry equipment. It'll be manufacturing and STEM laboratory storage and transportation unit, which is a trailer. There's a mobile laptop cart with 30 laptops. There's a learning management system, foundations of STEM modules. There's an air compressor toolbox, foundations of STEM equipment. Each school will get a 3D printer, so 5 of the elementary schools get a 3D printer. There's a milling machine, there's robotics equipment to outfit 30 students. There's just all kinds of mechatronics equipment that will go in there, PLC packages. So this will start rolling out Monday. We'll go to all of our K-8s, because we're focusing, I think, on 6-8 right now, with hopes to expand that to the elementary schools in the future. So we're excited about that. Tracy's done an excellent job, and hopefully she'll have some video and more information. But if you see the STEM trailer rolling around, just wanted you to know what it was. So we're proud of Tracy and proud of that program, and she'll bring more information at our next board meeting.
Bobby, how long, you said we're starting at Centertown, how long will it stay there before it goes to another?
This year I think it was 10 days.
10 days.
Oh, okay, every 10 days.
So, it's getting a little late start this year to try to get everything set up, and next year it'll be there when school starts, and so we're excited about it.
Sounds good.
All right, I got my note, we covered everything. I think that's it, Madam Chairman, for operations.
That's all on the operations report. We'll move to the curriculum and achievement report by Mr. Bill Zachman.
Madam Chairperson, members of the board, there's just one item, the second reading of policy IHA grading system. We reviewed that in some detail at the last meeting for first reading. And if there's anything that Bobby and Robin want to add to it, I think we've had a few questions on first reading, but
I think everything's right. It's
if there's
ready to go.
no questions, Madam Chairperson, I'm moving for adoption on second reading of IHA grading system.
Mrs. Zachman has moved a motion to accept on the second reading the IHA grading system. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor to accept the motion, second reading of the IHA grading system, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say aye. The ayes have it in favor to pass on the second reading the IHA grading system. Thank you, Mr. Zachman. Next, we'll have the Facilities and Resources Committee, Linda Blair.
Me find my notes. I have my notes. Okay. During committee, we had an update on the building project plan. And also during committee, I think it was, a motion was made and was presented during committee to allow Bobby to take it to the Education Committee in March and possibly use it out for an RFP after approval by the Education Committee to get the project updated, which will begin with Bobby Ray and West Elementary having the top priority. Okay, so Madam Chair, I would like to ask that the board approve the motion made in committee to allow Bobby to present to the Education Committee and ask for a subsequent RFP if approved.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any discussions? You sure no discussions?
No discussion. We're good, we're good.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say aye. Motion,
I'm sorry. Morrison Elementary also requested permission from the board to add 2 sets of swings and a volleyball area for the 5th to 8th grade students. Money for this will be used from their fall festival funds. I would like to present a motion to approve this so that they can go ahead and get started on playground equipment and the volleyball area for the 5th through the 8th graders.
do I have a motion for, Morrison to go ahead for the swings in the volleyball area for the 5th and 6th graders and money to be used from the fall festival?
I'll swing that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second swing?
Second.
Any discussion? You sure no discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. The ayes have it and the motion carries and passes for Morrison to use their fall festival money for the swings in the volleyball area.
Also out of committee came a presentation by Dr. Sandy Dawes regarding the renovations at the Warren County Middle School cafeteria. She's reviewed her budget and feels like that we can go ahead and get started on this project. So I think they're gonna start during spring break.
I think they're gonna try. They
Try to
can
start
get all the
this
bids in, yes.
Of course, they don't think they'll all get it all done during that
No,
time.
I don't think so.
But money has been already approved through her budget, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna present a motion to proceed with the renovations from, in the cafeteria, the Warren County Middle School cafeteria as presented by Dr. Sandy Dawes.
Do I have a motion for Dr. Cindy Gauss to proceed with the cafeteria renovations for the middle school?
Motion.
My pleasure. Okay, Tanya, yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say aye. The ayes have it, and Dr. Cindy Gauss is to proceed with renovations from the middle school.
We also had just a general discussion regarding access road and parking at Irving College. And David Alwyn was here, he provided some options, keeping in mind the bus turning radius. And we also had an update or just a general overview of the pedestrian bridge at Warren County Middle School where there's some testing of the current structure is underway. They're hoping to have all of that, all of the testing results back for analysis for us for next meeting in March. And that's all that came out of our Committees and Facilities Resource Management meeting.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other committee reports to be reported?
Madam Chairperson, from curriculum and achievement, this is an issue that affects the entire school district. As the TLN representative, I was at the Day on the Hill, the TSBA Day on the Hill, Monday evening and Tuesday morning. Bobby was there. We made the rounds. We spoke to Representative Joe Pitts from Clarksville, who is a very strong supporter of public education, a very dependable supporter. We got to speak very, very briefly with Judd Matheny. Paul Sherrill, our newly elected 43rd District Representative, was in committee meeting, so we didn't get to talk to him. And I had to leave before we had an audience with Senator Bowling, but Bobby, you
It's been a good amount of time with Senator Bowling.
And I'm sure very ably represented our position. TSBA, as usual, presented a number of legislative actions or legislative proposals that the TSBA board supports, and then a number that they oppose. The big issue coming out of that, of course, was the voucher program, the school voucher program. That is an issue that we will see every year in the Tennessee General Assembly until it's passed. Right now, it's what's called a, quote, pilot program. It would provide vouchers for school parents in the lowest 5%, the lowest performing schools in the state. That basically names Memphis. The issue there, of course, is the diversion of public tax dollars, education dollars, away from the traditional public school system. Because that voucher carries with it not only our share of the VAT for the student, but also our local funding that comes through the county commission, through sales tax and our portion of the sales tax. TSBA has taken a strong position. If there was one overwhelming issue with TSBA this year, I would think it's the voucher program. Of course, we know at the federal level, the premier evangelist for school privatization, Betsy DeVos, is now your Secretary of Education by one vote. The Vice President Pence had to come in the Senate and vote. Two Republicans, two members of the President's party defected on that and voted against her. I think, and I've talked to several other TSBA members, and I think that they're in agreement on this. I don't know how our legislature would look at it, but I think one approach to this is that the vouchers are practically inevitable in this political climate. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. I would think that we could say, trying to safeguard the funding for our students in the Warren County school system, that if the legislature wants to proceed with vouchers, fine, have at it. However, I think the legislature should hold public school districts harmless financially. In other words, if they want to drain $8,000 per student out of the Warren County system, the Tennessee legislature should come up with funding to replace that $8,000. Because we can't just turn the light switch off and on in terms of teachers and teacher placements based upon a big field of students coming and going in and out of the public school system. So if the legislature is willing to do that, I'm sure they're not, but I think they need that challenge. If you want to if you believe strongly enough in vouchers and privatization of government functions, then you come up with the funding, you figure out how to do the funding to hold the school system harmless. Otherwise, it's coming out of Warren County taxpayers, local taxpayers all across the state to try to make up for those losses. The other issue is popular election of school superintendents, directors of schools. For those of us in my generation that kind of lived through that in Warren County, I don't think you want to go back to it. I could, well, I won't get into all the stories about the little school board office on Lion Street, but that does not seem to be a very professional way to run a school system. The Education Improvement Act from 1991 basically created the structure we're working under now. I think it works well. I think school board members are directly elected. So you're not reducing the franchise, you're not reducing the influence of the voters over the school system at all by maintaining the system. As a matter of fact, there's 6 of us accountable to the voters. If you're electing one, basically your school board members really are not going to have any effect, and it will be the superintendent who will be directly accountable, and that doesn't guarantee you the most highly qualified, the most professional kind of person. It does guarantee you a good politician, may not guarantee you a good superintendent, but so it just depends upon what your priorities are, educating the kids or having fun with politics. So the other issue, and I'm gonna be very brief about this, that affects us and could have a very large effect on us is the IMPROVE Act. That's one of those terribly strained acronyms. IMPROVE basically is Governor Haslam's proposal for the fuel tax increase. That's coupled with reductions in other taxes in the state. But basically what Governor Haslam has proposed is a 7-cent per gallon increase in the gasoline tax, 12 cents a gallon increase in the diesel fuel, a $100 per vehicle fee for electric vehicles, because they're not paying any of these taxes at all. They're totally immune from the taxes. If you're looking for a user tax that directly corresponds to your use of public facilities, there's nothing better than the gasoline tax, because you pay as you go. Tennessee has had a great system of financing its highway and airport and bridge construction out of current revenues from the fuel tax. The last adjustment to the fuel tax was in 1989. That was 27 cents. The effects of inflation have reduced the actual impact of that now to 11 cents. We have a huge backlog of projects that need to be addressed, and the whole plan, the improved plan, if it's adopted in its present form, would bring in $278 million additional dollars over the present tax. That would fund 962 transportation projects in 95 counties. That's immediate, and those projects would be booked and committed immediately. But then, of course, the tax, assuming it stays intact, would fund highway improvements, construction, and maintenance on down the road. I like the idea that people driving in, particularly commercial vehicles, big 18-wheelers driving through Tennessee. If you drive from Bristol to Memphis, you're rolling up a lot of miles. These are people from out of state. They use our beautiful, very superior highways. This is our way of collecting back from them for the use of our highways, because they would have to. I don't think they can get from Bristol to Memphis without a refueling stop somewhere. I've talked to some of our legislators about this, and I personally support the governor in this initiative, and I realize and have respect in my heart for those who are just opposed to any kind of tax. But I think this is an investment in Tennessee. It's an investment in future business growth, future job growth in our state. Here's what's come up as competition to the governor's bill. Representative Hawks has proposed that we do some of this highway and transportation work not with fuel tax, but by taking a portion of the sales tax into converting that to transportation. We've never done that in the past in Tennessee. Here's the problem for school districts. You know, when you deplete the sales tax by a penny or whatever it is, you know who gets hit first. So education would be literally in competition with our highways. I don't think that's a good way to run a state, a good way to run a society. Let's continue the traditional sources of funding for education and the traditional sources of funding for our highways, but adjusted to recognize current economic reality. I would like to propose, Madam Chairperson, that we adopt a resolution forwarded to our 3 state legislators from Warren County, expressing support for the Improve Act and strong opposition to the idea of taking funds from sales tax. There's a little bonus to this for Warren County. 40% of that fuel tax comes back to the municipalities and counties where it's collected. Warren County, if this is adopted, would receive, this is a projection I got today from TDOT, Warren County, the Warren County Highway Department, Bridge and Highway Department, would receive a total, and I'm going to add the diesel and gasoline, so this would be approximate, would receive over $750,000 a year in new revenue. What could Warren County, what could Mr. Levy Glenn and his department do with $750,000 in new money? You know, if you live out on some road, most of our highways, the roads in Warren County are paved now, thankfully. But in terms of construction and maintenance, $750,000 new revenue a year. The city of McMinnville, just the city of McMinnville, would receive very close to $150,000 in new revenue every year. That's not the total, that's just the increase. So, you know, our streets and highways, particularly our rural roads, are absolutely essential to our student transportation system. So I think we do have a vested interest in supporting this. So, Madam Chairperson, I want to move for adoption of the resolution to that effect.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt a resolution to the 3 representatives to strongly disapprove for the sales tax increase?
Taking the money from the sales tax.
Taking the money from the sales tax increase.
And also supporting Governor Haslam's Improve Act. Yeah, that's the motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Are there any discussion? Okay, the ayes have it, and we are going to adopt a resolution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think that's it.
Is there anything else, any other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. The ayes have it, meeting is adjourned.
1 hour exactly, that's great.
You planned that, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you do the ad or
1
not?
hour exactly.
Did you do the ad or not?
Yes, I did.